Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a Korean movies entitled The Gangster, The Cop, The Devil. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing a small collision between two cars on a quiet street. Then they both went out to solve the problem. One of the drivers took a picture of his car for an insurance claim. And when the driver was off guard, the person who hit him stabbed him in the back and brutally killed him in the car. The psychopath is named Kyung-ho. After that, we are shown two police officers who are on their way to the murder scene. The cops are named Tae-suk and Dong-chul. But because the roads are jammed, their journey is hampered. Even the police car siren installed in his car was ignored by other drivers. Annoyed, Tae-suk removes the siren from his car. Then he saw a group of gangsters who were in front of the casino games. He then approached them and entered the place. And there he wreaks havoc because the other gangsters try to stop him and bribe him with money to leave the place. The scene moves to another place. We are shown a gangster boss who is practicing boxing. The gangster named Dong-soo. Dong-soo is a gangster leader who controls almost all areas in Korea. Not long after came his assistant named Oh-sung, who informs that Tae-suk is making a mess at his casino business. Upon hearing that, he immediately stopped his practice. Turns out there was someone in his punching bag. But before leaving, Dong-soo contacts Ho-bong, the police commander who is also Tae-suk's boss. Dong-soo orders Ho-bong to stop Tae-suk from making a mess of his business. It turns out that Dong-soo has bribed Ho-bong so that no police will dare to interfere with his business. Hearing this, Ho-bong immediately contacted Tae-suk and told him to get out of there and go straight to the murder scene. Long story short, Tae-suk arrives at the murder scene. In his investigation, he saw a scratch on the back of the victim's car. Then he called his teammate named Seo-jin. And showing suspicious car scratches, they conclude that this case is a serial killer because it is the same as the previous murder incident. The killer hit the victim's car from behind and then killed his victim. The scene moves to Dong-soo, who is solving problems with his business rival named Sang-do. Where Sang-do is a gangster leader in another area who is targeting some of Dong-soo's territory. Even so, Dong-soo still treats Sang-do well. But Oh-sung does not accept that his boss is treated like that and immediately scolds Sang-do. But Sang-do's confidant named Moon-sik doesn't accept it, and a fight almost breaks out between them. Dong-soo immediately beats Oh-sung, then pulls out Moon-sik's teeth and puts them in a wine glass. And tells Sang-do to drink the wine. After that, Dong-soo invites Sang-do to make peace and no longer disturb each other over his territory. The scene moves to the police, who are in a meeting to investigate the murder case last night, which turns out to be the result of the meeting. Ho-bong concludes that the death of the victim was due to a random attack by a gangster. But Tae-suk denies it and provides evidence that can conclude that the case is a serial murder, because before acting, the killer always crashes his car and kills him with the same knife as the previous murder case. But Ho-bong rejected his opinion. And that's why Tae-suk investigates the case himself. The scene switches to Dong-soo, who is going home after a meeting with Sang-do. Dong-soo tells Oh-sung to bring his troops and go home, because Dong-soo wants to drive alone somewhere. On the way, his car was suddenly hit from behind. Dong-soo gets out of the car without knowing that the person who hit him is a psychopath who wants to kill Dong-soo. But Dong-soo doesn't mind the car and tells the psychopath to drive away. But when Dong-soo was about to get into the car, the psychopath suddenly stabbed Dong-soo from behind. Dong-soo manages to survive, and a fight ensues between Dong-soo and the psychopath. It can be seen that Dong-soo was hit by several stabs, but he was still able to survive and was able to stab the psychopath back. Until finally, the psychopath managed to escape and hit Dong-soo until he passed out. And because of the incident, Dong-soo had to be rushed to the hospital. And Dong-soo managed to survive after 2 hours of surgery. At the same time, Dong-soo's men attack Sang-do's gang headquarters, because they suspect that it was Sang-do's gang who attacked Dong-soo. While elsewhere, we are shown Kyung-ho, who survived. He arrives in the countryside and manages to kill someone who caught him. The next day, Dong-soo, who had regained consciousness, called Oh-sung and informed him that the stabbing was not from Sang-doo's gang. Not long after that, Tae-suk comes to visit him. But there he instead made fun of Dong-soo, who was almost killed by a psychopath. And it turns out that the incident had a major influence on the power of the Dong-soo region, where the other gangsters began to dare to attack and seize his territory. After that, Tae-suk starts investigating Dong-soo's car and finds scratches on the back of his car, which is the same as the incident of the previous murder. Tae-suk then reports it to Commander Ho-bong. This time Ho-bong begins to listen to Tae-suk's words, especially after the psychopath almost kills a gangster that is feared in Korea. They both concluded that this psychopath killed his victims randomly. And while he was in the hospital, it turned out that Sang-doo had taken part of Dong-soo's territory secretly. But here Dong-soo seems calm.
야, 나도 진짜 궁금하다.
At night, we will be shown Kyung-ho killing the truck driver who was on the phone.
저런 애새끼 말이야. 애기 생일인가 봐요.
After killing the driver, Kyung-ho then takes his truck. But in the truck, it turns out there are still friends who just woke up from sleep. And Kyung-ho immediately killed the man until the knife fell to the road. The scene shifts to Dong-soo, who hires a sketch artist to find the perpetrators of the attack.
비슷하네, 이 새끼.
After the sketch was finished, Dong-soo ordered all of his men to find the culprit who had stabbed him. Not long after, Tae-suk comes again and asks Dong-soo for information and invites him to work together to catch the psychopath. But the offer was rejected by Dong-soo, who wanted the psychopath to die at his hands.
똑딱해 네 일이나 해. 그러면 너 좋고 나도 좋잖아. 어?
At night, Oh-sung gives the psychopath a knife he found on the street. He also took the perpetrator's car with him, which was found in the countryside. Oh-sung takes the car to headquarters to investigate. Hearing this, made Dong-soo contact Tae-suk and told him to meet at his place. They both make a deal to work together and catch the psychopath. Dong-soo also gives a sketch of the perpetrator's face to Tae-suk. But before the investigation can begin, Dong-soo orders Oh-sung to kill Sang-doo for taking his territory without Dong-soo's permission. And the plan went smoothly. Oh-sung managed to kill Sang-doo by stabbing Kyung-ho's knife into Sang-doo's body. The next day, Tae-suk came and immediately beat up Dong-soo. It turns out that Tae-suk knows that it was Dong-soo who killed Sang-doo. Dong-soo confesses that he killed Sang-doo. Hearing that Tae-suk will catch Dong-soo after successfully solving the psychopathic case. And Sang-doo's death sends an uproar throughout the city, as the police still can't solve this case. Then intelligence from another division was assigned to take over the investigation of the murder case. And the scene shifts to Dong-soo and his men, who come to Sang-doo's base to offer their condolences. And apparently, there was Kyung-ho who gave a letter to Moon-sik, which reads that Dong-soo killed Sang-doo using his knife. The next day, when Dong-soo and Tae-suk are looking for evidence in Kyung-ho's car, suddenly a group of Sang-doo gangsters appeared and immediately attacked the two of them. Until finally, they managed to defeat all of Sang-doo's men and killed Moon-sik. They also buried Moon-sik not far from his base. Tae-suk also manages to get the perpetrator's fingerprints on his car. Then Tae-suk and his team went to the house of the truck driver's wife, who had been killed by Kyung-ho. They make bait so they can catch the psychopath, where they agreed to meet. But the plan didn't go smoothly, because the psychopath was smarter and knew the plans of the police who wanted to catch him. And there was a chase action between the police and Kyung-ho. But finally, Kyung-ho managed to escape from the police chase. But after that incident, Tae-suk managed to get another clue and managed to find the psychopath's residence. After he looked for fingerprints on the bottle of drink he ordered at a restaurant. And this is where the police and gangsters began to know the identity of Kyung-ho.
마지막입니다.
Dong-soo gathers all his men to find Kyung-ho.
이 새끼를 무조건 잡는다.
In the evening we are shown with Dong-soo's troops, who are starting to get along with Tae-suk's troops. But not long after that, they saw a news report about the murder of a schoolgirl carrying an umbrella. Dong-soo knows that this murder is Kyung-ho's doing. And they immediately went to find the whereabouts of Kyung-ho. Where the search this time, Oh-sung managed to find Kyung-ho's lodging place. But when they go in there, they don't find Kyung-ho because he has left. They also plan to wait and catch Kyung-ho when he returns to the inn. And when Kyung-ho returned to the inn, he already realized that the gangsters and police had surrounded him. He quickly left from there. Until their car collided with each other. And Kyung-ho managed to escape again. The three of them then chased after Kyung-ho, who was running away. The three of them decide to split up to catch Kyung-ho. But instead, Oh-sung must meet with Kyung-ho, who immediately stabbed him. Oh-sung's screams were heard by Dong-soo and Tae-suk, who immediately approached Oh-sung. Dong-soo chases Kyung-ho again, who ran into the nightclub. There he checked all the rooms and finally managed to find them in one of the rooms. Dong-soo immediately beat Kyung-ho until he fainted. After that, he dragged him to a warehouse to be tortured.
너하고 내가 뭐가 달라?
And when Dong-soo was about to slash him, suddenly Tae-suk came and hit Dong-soo unconscious.
미안하다 이 새끼야.
It turns out that Tae-suk also wants to catch Kyung-ho and process him legally. After Kyung-ho was caught, Tae-suk and Dong-soo's collaboration ended. But Tae-suk instead arrests all of Dong-soo's men and forces him to close all his businesses on charges of manipulating casino machines. But Tae-suk's actions made them have no evidence that Kyung-ho was the psychopath that the police were looking for. Kyung-ho denies all accusations that he is a murderer, and said that at the trial, he would be acquitted of charges due to lack of evidence. It makes Tae-suk frustrated. Long story short, on the day of the trial, Kyung-ho and his attorney are sure that they will be released due to lack of evidence. But not long after that, Dong-soo came as a victim who survived Kyung-ho's murder. Dong-soo becomes a witness at the trial. Then he took off his clothes and exposed the stab wounds on his body. He also orders Kyung-ho to show the stab wound to his left chest, which was given to him by Dong-soo when fighting with Kyung-ho. And because of strong evidence, the judge decided that Kyung-ho would be charged with the death penalty. But that decision also made Dong-soo have to go to jail, because he confessed to what he had killed Sang-doo. And it turns out that it was Dong-soo's plan, so he could take revenge on Kyung-ho in prison. Before the day of the trial, Tae-suk comes to Dong-soo and asks for his help. Tae-suk promises to help Dong-soo get revenge on Kyung-ho as long as Dong-soo is willing to testify at trial. Dong-soo agrees on the condition that he is placed in the same prison as Kyung-ho. Before the film ends, we are shown with Dong-soo, who smiles with satisfaction because his revenge plan is going smoothly. Whereas Kyung-ho looks scared when he sees Dong-soo. And the movie is over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like and comment.